Hey, good morning, everybody. Glad to have you. On today's episode, what we're going to talk about is some very RoK basics, things like DPS, AOE, what the acronyms mean. I'm also going to touch briefly on the massive Altar of Darkness battles that went on yesterday between in Lost Kingdom number 1, especially between 1341, 1331, and 1177 and 1093. So stay tuned right after this kick-ass intro. All right, welcome back. All right, so much good stuff, right? Man, what a crazy day yesterday was. It was about 5 hours of fighting. We started fighting about 3 hours before the ruins even opened, and then the ruins are open for 2 hours, and then there were some people fighting for nearly an hour after. So it's pretty crazy. Definitely want to get into that. But before that, I think the way I want to format some of this is rather than just all commentary or Buns stories, I do want to give some educational pieces. So, some of the things I've seen lately are just really tied around some of the very basics. What do the acronyms mean? Whenever I say 93 was forming this AOE ball, what does that actually mean? When we say hit people with single attack marches or single attack DPS, what does that actually mean? And what we'll do here, and I'm not going to show you this because we're actually lined up at some ruins right now, so we'll probably get to sneak and take a look. But you'll notice with each of these commanders, on their skills, you can kind of tell whether they deal damage directly to one individual or multiple people, right? So YSG is a great example of an AOE commander. Now, AOE just stands for Area of Effect. What it really means is you're going to be hitting more than one person at a time. And as you can see, it says deals direct damage to the enemy in a circular area. Damage dealt to each target will be reduced 15% for each additional target. And it can only hit at most 5 targets, right? So what this means is if you're surrounded and you're hitting something or you're attacking something, he's going to do this area of effect attack that's going to hit up to 5 targets. Whereas, other commanders, for instance, let's just go with one you're going to get very early in the game. You don't see that, right? So what you see is deals direct damage to the target and has a 75% chance to deal additional damage to the target. This kind of tells you that he only hits one target. So whenever you build Rage, the way that Rise of Kingdoms functionally does its special skills is each attack generates a certain amount of Rage. And you can see right up here at the top, it shows the Rage requirement to kick off his skills. Now in Rise of Kingdoms, you have active skills and passive skills. Passive skills are skills that are passive. They don't actually do something directly out, right? So this active skill, whenever your rage reaches 1000, it immediately kicks off this attack and does this 1400 damage factor with a chance to deal another 600 damage factor. This is a passive skill. This means once this skill is here, it's always passive. You always have this march speed bonus, your attack bonus. So you can tell they've easily labeled them passive or active. And you can see this one, passive skill. I mean, you're always going to do 50% more damage to barbarians with Minamoto with this skill max. And kind of going into those skills, the way that Rise of Kingdoms does this is all of your skills are tied to 2 things. They're tied to your level of the commander, which it shows here, level 60 of 60. And it's tied to the number of sculptures you have. Now, some have these very specialized sculptures like Minamoto. You cannot use universals. And then you have other sculptures that look like the little Easter Island heads. Those are universals. They can be used across almost any legendary commander except for these like very specialized ones that Lilith came out with that have their own. You have to either buy a bundle or I think the New Kingdoms now have it in MGE. Another good example here of that is like Hannibal Barca. He only has these very, very specific ones. Whereas someone like Charles Martel, you know, let's see who else we've got. Alex, well, that one's just showing it. I have to get the one that I haven't maxed, I guess. So for example, here you can see you can either get Ramsey sculptures through like your Mightiest Governor events, or you can use your universal sculptures, right? So this kind of tells you over here how many sculptures you need. So that's key. I mean, especially for you newer players, this is key. Now, as you level a commander up, it opens up additional skills. Now, there's a couple things to think about, right? So I just got Chandra yesterday, and I think our second Mightiest Governor. So I'm not doing much with him. But you can see only his first skills lit up, and the other skills are grayed out currently. Now, what happens is as you level him up to level 10, which you know, we'll go ahead. Let's just do that. All right. Okay. 10. Let's just do this correctly. And here at the top, you can see, look, this is how many more experience points you need to level him up, right? So, all right. So we've hit level 10. Once you get the guy leveled up, it doesn't automatically open this. You have to use another mechanic. This little up arrow, and this is through these little sculptures too, Rob. So these are actually, we call them star sculptures. They call them, I guess here, star upgrade materials. You can also use other commanders' heads, but it doesn't give you almost any benefits. It's very, very low. And you can see here, 20%, 10% chance, you know, for these to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for here all of a sudden? Crit. So as you level up, you also have something. Okay, so see now I'm on the second star. This opens up his new skill. Each level that you move up will open up a new skill to level 40. Once you get to level 40, all your skills will be open. So if you have a primary commander that you're going to be running as the lead in your two commander pairing, you want to go ahead and push them up to level 60, because 60 is going to give you more points in your talent tree, and it's going to give you, you know, some troop capacity, things like that as you go to. Just because of that, each time you're moving up, you're adding equipment, and you're adding talent tree points, you're going to be able to add all kinds of buffs and things like that. But if you're a secondary commander, like for instance Takeda here, Takeda is always going to be a secondary commander. Don't be a dumbass and like run this guy as like a primary commander. That's not what he was designed for. So at that point, for your secondary commanders, you can save quite a bit and just level them to 40. Now, I've done this with most of the commanders that I run secondary, short of El Cid, which I think I'm actually going to move up to 60, just because sometimes in the middle of Arc of Osiris, he's pretty valuable. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about what some of these other acronyms mean and what they actually do and kind of how this works in the field, right? So let me show you my current Charles March here. Okay, so you can kind of see here, we're trying to kill their ball of 93's Ball of Doom, and the marker is up that says solo target. Now, what does this really mean, though? So as I showed you, these commanders that do AoE, they're going to do this area of effect, and you can kind of see these big giant circles here, these little fans here, like that was an Ethelflad fan, and these are probably YSG, or that one was actually Sun Tzu coming in. What's happening is, whenever you attack, when you kick off AoE, it's hitting all these other people. Now, these other people, they're not attacking you. They're not even trying to attack you. They're literally just sitting in the ball, waiting. And what happens, though, is when you get attacked, even if you're not attacking, it starts to build your rage. And on each commander, there's 4 little dots along the side that will slowly start building up. And you'll see some commanders produce rage really fast, some commanders produce rage much slower. But whenever you get max that rage bar, it kicks off your skills. In this case, what's happening is if you come in here and you attack, let's say, I don't know, Mission to Nick here, and you only attack him with a march that does single attacks, it's not going to do any AoE. It will not cause all these other people to kick off and basically wipe your ass out. But if you come in here, and I'm guessing a lot of these people here that were stacked in our little, ball, they probably have got tank commanders like Charles, just like I did, and AoE. So when they come in here and they hit this ball, they're only attacking one person, but each time their AoE hits, it's going to be building the rage of all these other people, at least 5 at a time. And then as that continues, those people are going to start releasing their special skills. So you're hitting one person and 5 people are hitting you back. And if you have, let's say, I don't know, let's say 20 people around this ball all doing AoE, and there's 100 people in this ball, all 100 people are going to be launching area of effect attacks against you non-stop. So if you see a ball like this, don't hit them with AoE. And I mean, you can see here, I mean, just look at the red numbers popping up. I mean, there's AoE flying everywhere. It's not good. Okay, like Reclusive here, right? Like Reclusive Life. That is an AoE commander. That's Athel. So what's about to happen is Reclusive Life's AoE rage is going to build up, and you're going to see her little fan. She's going to hit all these people, and then they're all going to hit her back. It's basically like swarming yourself down. So watch how fast like the health bar drops. I mean, it's a good example. And this is really what not to do. And you can see here, Heyte is using Charles and Sun Tzu. You can see the Sun Tzu proc. So his Charles is dead. Reclusive Life pretty close to dead. He's using Guan Oleg, so he's also going to die very fast. But this guy's doing it correct. He's using GCAT is doing Edward and El Cid. So he's only targeting one person. The problem for GCAT right now is that even though he's doing it correct, all these other people that aren't, they're going to cause that AoE to launch and also hit him. So it's going to drain him just as fast, even though he's doing the right thing. I mean, this is not what you want to do. This is not an effective strategy to take out a ball. So, which commander should you hit with? Well, as you can see, they've got like 100 Richards here. I mean, this is just like Richard Alley. So the best combinations are going to be single archers. So you're going to look at combinations like Edward and Tomiris. This is probably the most effective combination. If you also have like a lot of Guans in there, maybe Edward and El Cid, because he does a silent skill. A disable skill. So he disables the target's normal attack and active skills for 1 second. And for something like a Guan that does an AoE attack, I mean, that's pretty nice. Like you're disabling a normal attack and a skill. So even if it's just 1 second longer that takes to proc, it still adds up, right? Like Edward Tomiris is great. Also, I like to march a lot with Alex and Tomiris. And my Alex, I've got, he's okay. What you might also do is if you have a Delanes, maybe put a counter attack in here too. Another one is Khan. So Khan is a very, very good commander for this. And you can kind of see here, attacks a single target. This is important, right? Single target. So when you see don't AoE, this is the commanders you want to use, right? So, I mean, when you're looking at these things, right, to the target, these are single target attacks. This one's pretty good too. Like if they've got a lot of skill damage commanders in there, Saladin is very, very good to attack this. So what I would do in this case is maybe a Saladin Takeda, because you're reducing their skill damage and their counterattack damage, while you're also increasing all of yours, right? So um, Takeda debuffs a single target, and for 4 seconds it's a pretty good amount of time. Um, and you can kind of see, like, each time a target receives a normal attack, there's a 50% chance to receive an extra normal attack damage. So that procs pretty often. 50% is really, really high, right? And then, of course, your attack bonus is up, and he does some level of healing. But the big one here for this portion is the defense bonus. And then the same way that Saladin also reduces that skill damage, so does Takeda, right? So he reduces by 5%, but he also reduces normal attack and counterattack. So Saladin Takeda is a really, really good march against this. Edward Tamaris or Edward El Cid. The commanders you absolutely do not ever, ever want to use are things like YSG, Barca, Ethel, William, Mehmed. Anything that does AoE, anything that hits more than one target, don't do it. Just trust me. You're just going to kill yourself and literally everybody else. So let's just see here. Okay, so we got Digimon. And Artemisia is a very, very powerful archer commander. And so Digimon is using Artemisia and YSG. Let's take a look at that. And then you guys probably already know, because the secondary was YSG, that it's not going to go so well. But let's look at Artemisia here. What does Artemisia do? All right, cool. Let's see. Is Artemisia an AoE? Like, if this is pop quiz time, this is, when you get your shot to say yes or no. Deals damage to on troops and deals damage up to 3 enemies. So that's a horrible march to hit this with. Okay, and here, this guy, he's got Sun Tzu. So that's another equally horrible march to hit a ball with. He's doing it okay, right? So he's doing con and CC, but he's going to pay the price for whoever else was over here doing this. Okay, so Killer Wolf, he's here. He knows what to do. This is good. All right, let's see what secondary commanders these guys over here have got. Well, he came back again, so this Sun Tzu is about to ruin it for everybody. He has Richard, which I also wouldn't recommend, but he also just has Joan, so he's just buffing his guys. Right, so he has Mina. Betty has Mina and CC, so that's okay. Okay. I don't see what Clelita has. All right, so it looks like right now almost everyone has the correct marches. Well, nope. Here comes St. Erie to fuck it all up tremendously. Here goes the Guan AoE, and then all the other AoEs about to proc, and boom, 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 boom. Here comes all the red. Just absolutely brutal. So, St. Erie probably is going to be like, hey, man, Guan out, it's a super strong march. Yeah, it is, but it's not for this. You're going to watch now all this stuff. Oh, well, who is this guy up here? So Addy83 is using Genghis Williams. That's also terrible, because it's just going to shoot Williams AoE. So, the real reality here is we don't have a fucking clue what we're doing. We're just pretty much lost in the sauce. Like, we just want, like, really high healing bills, and we just, I don't know, maybe 93 can make some more memes, because the other one, giving up the ruins, really wasn't meme worthy. But I think this is probably meme worthy, because for an alliance as powerful as ours, boobies, with where are we at now? With some of the snow guys in. Yeah, we're at like almost 15 billion power. Well, we can't seem to figure out what AoE is or isn't. Um, I mean, it's just a sad fact. And so all these people doing this AoE, I mean, Killer Wolf had Edward and Tamiris. That's a super powerful march. And you guys have probably seen his Edward. It's stacked out the ass. Like, it has so much gear. I mean, he could really do this. So if people would stop causing all the AoE to kill him, he probably could have some massive, massive amounts of kills here. So let's see what we got. So, since you see the Guan, I just want to show you. Where's my shitty Guan that I've never done anything with? Alright. So, deals direct damage up to, well, that's not single, that's 3. So, that's not what you want to do. Now, the only good news is you're silencing these targets for 3 seconds, right? But you're still like going to be building their rage, and eventually they're going to unleash on you. So let's just see how many other completely retarded things we do here. Oh, well, so that's that's that lesson for today. I'll leave it here for a few minutes just to show you how poorly this is not going to work. This is an abstract failure. I mean, here's Putnik with Ethel, which probably was dead within seconds. Let's see who Pickle's using. I feel pretty good about Pickle here. Just seeing him coming in with Edward gives me hope. Yep, Edward and Tamir. Yay to the Pickle. Pickle is smart. Hey, Oleg came back very smart this time. So maybe we're learning. Maybe we're getting it. There's War Totten. I didn't even know he had archers, to be honest. Like I think he rides horses in India. I mean, he loves calves so much. Like, let me tell you, this brings me into a really funny story. So, Killer Wolf, who's an archer guy, he just wanted to summon, Chandra just so he could, get the $5 bundle for like the 10 extra heads. So, it looks like someone killed my Richard that was hiding in the snowball. You son of a bitch. I had a Richard planted up here. Oh, okay. So it was actually snow that killed me again. I mean, so probably some snow person targeted me. Yep. I mean, snow. What are you gonna say here? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they got hit. Maybe somebody had accidentally targeted me on the team and turned me red. So then, whenever the bad guys attacked, they just AoE'd me down. Or, I mean, they might just be fucking retarded because, who knows? I don't know. It's hard to say. It's just hard to say. Let's see. What I'm guessing happened is the bad guys attacked because I was stuck in here, trying to give them a little extra AoE. And if it's your own kingdom, it shows you as not red, right? Like, it shows you as not red, it shows you as yellow. So even when you do AoE, it won't hurt you unless somebody attacks me. Now, if even one person here attacks me, it turns me red, and then all their AoE would be able to hit me, right? So, guessing during this, somebody in Snow probably just attacked me, and then just went from there. Let's just see. This is why I don't go much to like the snow ruins. It never ends up good for me. I always just end up dead. Let's see how this thing kicked off. Okay. So, the very first person. Oh, man. So I guess it's us and Snow Panda. So we got hit. Boom. Nice. Could have been just maybe dragging in because I think Panda's a pretty smart player most of the time. So who knows? But anyway, good luck, Snow, up there. I did my duty for you guys today. I died in service of our kingdom, to our kingdom, for that piece. And I'm gonna hide up here for a little bit since I'm just pretty tired. I mean, I've still got plenty of resources. I haven't opened that many of my packs yet, but we'll see. Okay, so it looks like here they're doing okay. I'm not sure what Franzi's got. Let's see who the secondary commander is. Okay, so not bad, not bad. Doing pretty good there. There's Troy. Okay, just for kind of educational purposes, let's look at Ramsey, right? Let's see. Is Ramsey's El Cid a good combination for this? Alright, continuous damage to a single target. Oh, hey, you know what? I like that. All those archer units. Yep. Skill damage reduction, attack bonuses, healing factor, defense bonus. Hell yeah, you know what? That's a really good combo. So Rostov Don, thumbs up to you, buddy. Like, you know what you're doing. Let's see though. Let's see what's going on here. So Hades over here. Hades is doing good. I don't know about Pelagius though. I mean, I don't think. Let's see what Pelagius does. I think maybe he could. Maybe there's a better combo there than Pelagius. So total of only 600, counting his direct and additional, and 100 rage. Okay, 15% attack and defense. That's not terrible. This one's a useless skill because it's only for like attacking, sorry, increase garrison and watchtower attack. So this is if you put him on your garrison wall. If you put this guy on your garrison wall, though, someone should come along and just slap the shit out of you. Like, do not put this guy on your garrison. Your garrison, for you newer players, that means your city defense. Do not defend your city with Pelagius. And then he healed somebody. So let's think of what would have been a better combination. So even direct damage factor, let's just take this 600, right? So now let's just go right back up here to these barb commanders. Right off the bat, we go from 600 to 2000 if you have Mina. And most people have Mina maxed. Even if you don't, okay, this one does 1400, so that's 800 more damage factor. It also reduces your enemy's attack by 40% for 3 whole seconds. And then this one's a barbarian skill. This one adds the same attack bonuses, and except instead of like 15%, you're getting 30% attack. And this also does healing at I think a higher level. We'll check, and then more rage restored. So pretty much Mina or Cece would have been a better option than Pelagius. Obviously, Saladin would be even better. Khan would be great. Let's look at Attila. Here. So he just increases all his normal attack and counterattack, and he reduces the enemy's attack by a whopping 50%, which is pretty massive. This one's a garrison attack, so nothing for us there. Skill damage reduced, attack bonus 40%, so just 10% more. Pretty nice. And this one is if you contain only cav units, which you should always only contain, the units that the commander leads. So if it's a cavalry commander, just put cavalry in it, please. Okay, and this one, let's see. Normal attacks have a chance to increase his own troops' all damage. Okay, all damage is really nice because that's every type of damage for the next 2 turns, and has a 25% chance to increase all damage dealt by 50%, and has 25% chance to increase all damage dealt by 100%. Ooh, I mean, that's pretty nice. So Attila would have been better. Basically, almost anything would have been better than Pelagius there. Let's even look. Are there any commanders here that we could that are better at? So not really here, because his direct damage factor is 450, and we saw Pelagius was 600. But he also includes 60% of reductions. Reducing the enemy's defense and attack by 30% each is pretty big. That's just his barbarian skill. His defense up by 30%. Pelagius did 15% of each attack and defense. So now this one's a pretty cool one though. Whenever the target has been reduced to less than 50% strength. So roughly, if you only target like people within the ball that have like the yellow health bar, you're going to get a 25% damage bonus. And that's pretty good. You know, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it really isn't that bad. So, let's see. And his expertise was, of course, yep, that's the 30%, and then March speed by 50%. Whereas Pelagius was 15% and 15%. He does not have anything tied to, you know, lower troops. So, I think if you come in and you snipe off those people who are like 50% health or lower, Belisarius would probably be a better commander to come in and attack that ball with. Who you absolutely do not want in any form is Sun Tzu by bars, because why? To enemies in a forward-facing fan shape, maximum 5 targets. Sun Tzu, maximum of 5 targets, right? You just don't want that. Like, it's just not. If you're going to do archers, right? So, like, what about archers, right? Nope. Direct damage to 3 targets. So, definitely not him. Okay. This is nice. Decreases rage. Single target attack. Increase attack and march speed. You don't care about this. And then normal attack damage. So, if they're all infantry, and you have Herman maxed, you know, maybe you're free to play, or maybe you just are like a beginner and you want to do archers, this would have been a better attack than Pelagius. So, you know, thumbs down to that attack. So, let's see. Whatever happened, it looks like we won that though. So, a lot of death, a lot of destruction, but overall, you know, they got the job done. So, nice job. So we got an Alex here. Got a Constantine. He's probably got a Joan to do some buffing. This Charles is probably suspect, having a bad secondary. Okay, that's good. That's good. I would not run down south to fight with a Richard. You cannot escape at all. Alex is okay. Okay, that's good. Troy, he's kind of a badass, so he knows what to do. Let's go him down. Oh my god, it's like the March of the Penguins here. Alright, so while we watch this, let's talk about the massive battles that went on and why I don't have a video up. So I have 5 hours worth of footage, and it's insane. It's just insane. But what I wanted to do, and what I'm going to do, is I plan to take some of that footage, get with the people on the other side from 93, some of the people here in 77, some of the people up in 1341, 1331, and kind of send the video to them, and then get on a Zoom call and kind of record it, right? And I want you guys to see the perspective from the enemy, because I can tell you, yesterday, across 5 hours, the location where the main battle was happening changed at least a dozen times. And what this really was is it was a series of 93 would do something that would either mess up our plans or help our plans, and then we would adapt and start moving. So one of the big keys that I saw yesterday, you know, just to give you my perspective here, which you probably don't really need, but you can kind of see there's multiple ways in here. So there's like a south entrance, there's like a north way you can come around and top, and then there's an east-west, right? So your cardinal directions. The way it started yesterday is 93 basically took our tactic, you know, the same way we stole their ball. And 93 started moving over in this direction, fighting us, so we couldn't get reinforcements into the ruins. And that battle, it was kind of a pitched battle for a while, and then the battle slowly moved down here, down south. And at one point, we did very well, and we pretty much had this entire pass blocked. So while they still did send some marches this way, they started coming up from their pass, which is down here, and they started marching up and around right through here. So what this caused us to have to do is split our forces, right? Because now we're having to fight in two functional areas. We're having to fight in the south and we're having to fight in the east. A couple of the guys even went as far as like, I don't know, I think they went like all the way around up top here. It was like uncanny, but anyway, so that happened. So we moved a lot of our marches over here to the east, and then they of course started coming back here, but they also did a split off and started heading back towards our pass and cut us off, and it became very difficult at one point to get marches through, right? So what you end up having now is we had split marches going up here to this western one and marches going down here to fight. And this rotated a bunch of times. And, you know, from what I saw, especially, is anytime either one of us extended too far from where our gate was, right? So, like the ruins being considered the middle ground, anytime 93 made it roughly into this area, their march time back was so long and we could refresh so fast that we would really start decimating them, and then we would start pushing, and then usually, you know, somewhere in this area we hit like a stalemate, and then we would push and extend ourselves, and then we got, you know, as we got closer to their gate, their refreshes were happening much faster. And then what they did at one point too, which was, you know, it was kind of reminded me of like that movie, the 300, like the Spartans, right? So they started here on the corner, kind of very similar to how you see them now, and they started forming a ball, and then they would move it like an inch or two, just an inch or two, but they would just move it up each time, and everybody would move, not really in unison. I mean, like you can tell, like they're not; these guys are real players. They're not botting. I mean, these are competent, intelligent players. So groups of them would just, you know, move a few inches at a time, and they would move the ball, and it was just like this giant Spartan ball, you know, constantly moving up. I don't know where they got the tactic from, but after seeing it, I think that will be the tactic for most KVKs to come. I'll be honest. In some ways, it's disappointing because the fighting will be very, very linear, very stagnant in some cases, and it will become very important to really stop the flow of reinforcements. So that part will become a little bit different than that wild melee and action that you typically see. But in a lot of ways, I think it's going to even the gap between some smaller kingdoms and larger kingdoms. And the reason I say that is, like, I mean, you can look at our kingdom, 1177. We have two major alliances. And while, yes, they're very powerful alliances, 93 has like 4 to 6 of these alliances. I mean, they're a huge kingdom in terms of overall just population. So in a normal KVK where you didn't have, you know, guys like us who are all like 100 million plus and can sustain troops for extremely long periods of time, because, you know, we've had like 3 easy KVKs in a row, and we all have like billions of resources at this point from like Flater's 92 farm accounts, which I'm pretty sure he has. Like, it's crazy how many farms this guy has. Like, creates a new farm like every day. I think we're like when the rest of us get drunk and we just like say bad things or, you know, do something stupid. Like every time Flater, you know, drinks like one of his like Zimas, or like one of those White Claw, like, you know, pretend alcohols, I think he just gets, you know, wasted and creates another farm account. So, you know, it's what it is. But what I think is going to happen now, though, is smaller kingdoms are going to come and form these balls, and when they do that, and you'll see they keep changing the location of the ball. Damn you! I wonder if I have like an angry face. Nope. I'll just do this. Like, So anyway, these smaller kingdoms, they're going to come in, they're going to form these balls, and if they have only 100 people, it's going to take like 300-400 people to really knock this ball out, especially because trying to get 300 intelligent people to all do single attack instead of AoE, it's pretty hard. I mean, as you saw, like, we're a pretty good alliance. I mean, our Ark of Osiris team, like these guys before I met them, they finished like top 4 or something, and then we made it like top 8 or top 16, and they made it top 8 before. I mean, these guys are intelligent. I mean, most of the people in our alliance are very solid players, but you see, even here, like sometimes intelligent players, they do dumbass shit, and it's just it is what I guess I'm gonna have to create a new T-shirt that says "It is what it is." It's a hashtag, so that's it. Um, let's see. Anyway, so like I said, I'm gonna get some of the video together. I'm gonna get some interviews with some of the best players in all of Rise of Kingdoms. I'm gonna get it posted for you guys. It's probably gonna take me like a week. So if you're like, why the hell is Buns showing like the altar fight from August like 22nd? That's what it's gonna be. But I think it's gonna be important for you guys because you're gonna get to see from some of the very top players in the game, people who are way better than I am. When they see stuff, what they're thinking. Like, I really want to get a hold of, and I don't know if they'll give me an interview, but I really want to get a hold of like Lion King of '93, Tanglin. I think his name's Spula or Spola. I don't remember how you say it there. Some of their players like Wythen, some of their really big heavy hitters, that I saw out there and I see constantly like kind of leading the charge from their side. Same thing with like 1341, like people like Easy Company, Death Squad, even Nilder. And I gotta tell you guys a funny Nilder joke here. So I know of Nilder from this group of completely incompetent weirdos. And I can't remember what her name was. It's like Lady Di or something. So anyway, after our KVK2, where that guy that I made fun of named Kai, after that I decided, like, you know what, like I took over as king, and I was like, I'm gonna build a massive kingdom, and I'm just gonna go curb stomp these guys. Like, I'm just gonna curb stomp everybody. Like, just I'm gonna find these people again, and I'm gonna curb stomp them. Like everybody from my KVK2, I'm gonna go curb stomp them. And I think I even told like my buddy like Sendao, who's like he's one of the leaders of 1122. He had some up and down relationship in terms of being allies too. So the very next KVK we matched, well, I had brought in like 300 players, friends of mine, and just really good players that I've seen from the like 5 accounts that I'm playing all over. And we laid down a beat down. I mean, we had like 1,000 people on the field, like literally 1,000 active players. It was massive. At one point, one of our other enemies, who was I think it was Kingdom like 1060 maybe, or is a different kingdom. I don't remember which kingdom it was now. I'd have to look back. But we had so many players on the field. We had 6 full alliances. So we didn't even have to drop like the nature's gift thing to like block any of their passes. We just stacked people. We had this one Spanish group called KME, and these guys are pretty cool. I mean, they're emotional. I mean, the Spaniards are kind of emotional, but it's like, dude, they're just players. It was like watching, like, if you lit like a fire in like a New York sewer system, and just like, how like in the movies, like all these rats just come spilling out. That's what it looked like. Like, if you zoom out and you saw like those little like little dots and stuff, like it just looked like a tsunami. They held one pass by themselves, and one of the guys that was there, anyway, like he's now playing against us. His name's Running Broad, and he's a really, really good player. He's in 1331, I think the FN Alliance, so I'm going to try to get a hold of him too, because I'd love to get his perspective. But anyway, let me go back to my Nilder story. So, as I was recruiting and adding people to 1206, this group came in, and they had a lot of kills and a lot of deaths, and from the outset they seemed like, hey, this guy's going to be like pretty badass. Well, they had these just mind-boggling things to say. At one point, they just said, like, before every KVK, we literally try to destroy each other and kill all of our siege, and I was like, All right. Like, I mean, are you trying to drop power? Like, if so, why aren't you migrating then, right? Like, we don't need you to drop power. And they're like, no, no, no. That's just what we do. We don't believe in siege. Like, siege lives don't matter. And so I was like, well, fuck, man. I mean, that's hardcore. Like, okay. Like, I mean, sometimes, like, maybe you need some siege, right? Like, maybe you want to, like, farm, or maybe you just have a flag that you just want to fuck with the enemy. And so you stick, like, woo in there with, like, some siege and stuff. And you just laugh your ass off while they kill, like, real troops. And, like, your siege just die. Like sometimes if we build a flag, we're like, oh, man, like, we should have built the other direction. Like, instead of taking it up, you just throw your siege in there and then laugh at the enemy a little bit. But, whatever. But then they just kept saying, like, unbelievable things, like, just unbelievable things, right? It was just like crazy, crazy stuff. And it was like drama on the high seas. I think at one point, what did they say? Oh, yeah. They said, at the time, I think I was like 80 million power. And they're like, why do you have so much power? And I was like, well, I need troops, right? Like, all my KVKs, like, a lot of troops die. So I need troops. And they were like, no, no, you're an idiot. Like, you only have 5 marches. You only need enough troops for 5 marches. I was like, okay, so, like, explain that to me. So the rationale that they gave me was, you go out with your 5 marches, whatever configuration I guess you can put together, and when they die, like, that's either like the end of your battles for that day, or I guess you go back and, like, while everybody else is fighting, you're training troops. So anyway, it was like just some batshit crazy stuff, and they gave me a list of all of their players, and one of them was this guy. Thankfully, he's not associated with them anymore, but I've given him a little bit of a hard time, but he's a really cool dude, so I just feel like he can take it. So I'm gonna give him, like, a little bit of shit here, but he was part of this group. Now, he didn't speak really. Um, it was only like this lady and this other guy, but I ended up declining, and I was like, you know what? Thanks, guys, but no thanks. It's like a bad breakup though. It was like I said, like, thanks but no thanks, and then they started, like, sending me messages like, you were on top of our list and all this other stuff. So anyway, a good buddy of mine named Umarin, he ended up in 201, and they all went there, and it was an absolute disaster. They started, like, a civil war with their own allies. They killed each other. I mean, it was just, it's pretty much what you'd expect from somebody who says, like, look, you only need, like, enough marches for 5. No more troops. So, you know. So that's a good one. So if you see Nilder, just give him a hard time. Just ask him how many troops he has or something, and just tell him, like, maybe hashtag, like, I don't know, how do we hashtag, like, only enough troops for 5 marches? Because you gotta shorten the hashtag a little bit. So we'll be thinking about that. And next time, that Umarin guy, I gotta tell you a great story about this guy. And I'm gonna save it for next time, because this guy had literal phone sex while we were on Discord planning an attack with all of our leaders. He thought he was on mute, but he wasn't. And it's got to be a top 5 story in my entire time in RoK. So, stay tuned next time for the Umi story. Make sure, if you're told to attack with single attack marches, you don't attack with AoE. And other than that, deuces, mooses. Later.